Good day to the honorable panel of judges. My name is Cevin Alvino as the first speaker of the opposition team. We firmly stand against the motion that government should impose stricter regulation on influencers who promote products and lifestyles to minors. So, the definition of influencer is a person who built a dedicated social media following and established authority and specific niche. A product is any item, good, service to satisfy customer needs or desires. Lifestyle is the specific way of living chosen by an individual or group, encompassing their daily habits, behaviors, values, and economic circumstances. Minor is under general human rights laws, child protection regulation, and individuals under 18 are classified as minor. So, let us be clear from the very beginning. The opposition team deeply cares about the well-being of minors. However, we strongly disagree with the government mechanism. Our stance is simple. The existing advertising code, cyber laws, and consumer protection are already fully equipped to handle harmful content. For example, applications like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram had specific mechanisms to restrict children under the legal years, like minors or under 18 years old, to harmful content that are not suitable for their age. Adding a specific harsher layer of regulation targeting only influencers is operationally irrelevant, creates dangerous censorship, and wrongfully shift and the fundamental duty of childcare away from parents and into the hands of bureaucrats. Government regulation is already strict enough to maintain protection of minors. So there is no necessary reason for us to make more strict regulation. Therefore, strict local regulation will only penalize and cripple our own digital economy, while failing assuredly to shield minors from global content. So the government team will likely paint a dystopian picture today. They will claim that minors are helpless victims, brainwashed by luxury lifestyle and fake aesthetic standards, leading to massive financial loss and mental health crisis. But let us look at reality. Minors do not possess independent purchasing power. They do not have credit cards or bank accounts to buy these products without parental consent or funding. Therefore, blaming influencers for child consumption habits is a lazy argument. It completely ignores the root cause, the lack of parental oversight and digital literacy at home. So, my main constructive argument rests on the sheer impracticality of overregulation in a digital era. First, the internet is fundamentally borderless. If the government tighten regulation on domestic influencers, it will not stop minors from opening their apps and watching anything that they want to watch. For example, in our school, there is a student who is graduating from an Islamic boarding school, or we call it Sman, that we all know so many strict rules in there. He has never smoking before, but someday get caught smoking in school. And during the interrogation, he admitted that when he on a transition phase from Pesantren to high school, he felt a freedom that he never felt before. And in this case, he's smoking. So this is the proof that the main reason is not about the influencer lifestyles, but depends on the environment around them. And second, if the government forces pre-approval of content, we are entering a dangerous territory of state-enforced censorship. The government does not have the budget, the manpower, or the algorithm to monitor millions of video uploads every single day. This policy is completely unenforceable. For this reason, the motion must fall. Thank you.
Good day, honorable judges. My name is Gloria, as the second speaker of the opposition team. Let me dismantle the current assumption of the government side. The proposition team might propose a falsely beautiful statement about relying solely on parents and education is very considered unrealistic and insufficient, that many parents lack the time, resources, or digital literacy required to monitor their children effectively. However, we believe that protecting minors should focus on empowering them through media literacy education and increasing parental involvement rather than relying on government restriction. Education and parental agency are far superior mechanisms. The root cause of the problem is a lack of digital literacy, not the presence of influencers. Empowering parents and minors to filter content creates a long-term critical thinking, whereas the government censorship only creates a false sense of security. Protecting the minors should start from a good environment, whenever it's from the home, friends, and school. Protecting minors must be a collective effort split among parents, educators, and society, rather than dumping the obligation purely on the government. If we want to mention about parent supervisions, parents already have access to effective oversight tools like parental controls and monitoring application. For example, myself. My parents use family to restrict my screen time for only 5 hours a day. They can also restrict harmful content from me using a system the family provides, protecting me from the negativity of internet without even needing another strict regulation. Now, my argument will focuses on the devastating economic and social impacts of this offered regulation. Still want you to believe that if we just restrict influencers, the mental health and self-esteem of minors will magically improve. Banning or overregulating the modern messenger will never solve the core problem. According to Compass.com, projected contribution from influencers to national economic growth reaches 6,280 trillion rupiah or $376 billion. Furthermore, this regulation will accidentally kill positive content. Many influencers promote health, fitness, mental health awareness, and educational habits in minors. For example, Jarum Poli. Jarum Poli promotes educational habits, educational content, and became an inspiring young generation role model. With stricter regulation, we are creating a hostile, fear-driven regulatory environment. We will destroy the good creators alongside the bad. Many influencers will get scared to try and leading our country to an innovation strike era, killing the bright minds and the innovation of hope by the influencers and influential people. We will sacrifice the good influencer just for regulation that will not guarantee a real impact. Government regulation is already strict enough to maintain protection of minors, so there is no necessary reason for us to wait for stricter regulation. Therefore, stricter regulation will only penalize and cripple our own digital economy while failing miserably to shield minors from global content. The current consumer protection laws already penalize fraud and illegal goods. We do not need to add more restrictions. Also, added restrictions leads to risking the future opportunity of creative industry and social media innovation. Not including restriction, risk proves the proposition team lacks empathy and objectivity of motion. And that's exactly why imposing stricter regulation is highly irrelevant, and we strongly disagree with the proposition. Thank you.
Good day, honorable judges. My name is Yudistya, and as the third speaker of the opposition team, my role is to reinforce our team's argument, address the government's remaining responses, and demonstrate why the proposal fails in both effectiveness and proportionality. Today, I will focus on two key classes: effective protection and proportional regulation. The government will argue that the parents cannot supervise their children 24/7, so the state must step in. However, this assumes that the government can be transparent. We reject that premise. If parental supervision is lacking, the answer is more parental involvement and better digital literacy, not more government control. Influencers are not the only source of influence. Children are shaped by friends, family, celebrities, television, and social media algorithms. Even if the government regulates Indonesian influencers, minors can still access foreign creators and alternative platforms. Their policy does not remove harmful influencers, it simply moves them elsewhere. Our model teaches minors how to critically and navigate online spaces responsibly. The government's model teaches them to depend on state protection. Parents already have access to tools such as Google Family like my teammates say, YouTube Kids, and smartphone parental controls. In Indonesia, digital literacy programs have also become a major strategy for online child protection. Take TikTok as an example. Despite restriction and moderation policies, many Indonesian minors still bypass the safeguards. This proves that regulation alone cannot fully protect children. The real solution is active parental supervision and teaching minors how to be digitally literate, how to evaluate content, advertisement, and influencer culture critically. The government may also review that any economic cost is justified if children are protected. But this is a false choice. We support protecting children. We oppose ineffective regulation when existing laws already provide protection. The government has never proven why new regulations are necessary. If the influencer promote scam, fraud laws are the exist. If they promote legal product, law enforcement can already intervene. If they engage in false advertising, consumer protection laws already apply. Instead of enforcing the existing law, the government proposes fake regulations based on scientific ideas like harmful lifestyles and materialistic promotion. This creates uncertainty, excessive government control, and unnecessary harm to creators and businesses. Indonesia's digital economy depends heavily on influencer marketing, especially for local businesses. For example, their policy combines educational content with commercial partnership. As you know, Menanti is one of his brand. While digital led by the David Brandy educates consumer through technology reviews and product recommendations. Under government's proposal, the line between consumer education, product promotion, and materialistic lifestyles become dangerously unclear. This does not just affect creators like Pauline and Yudistya, it affects thousands of small creators and UMKM businesses that depend on influencer marketing to survive and grow. The government offers uncertain benefits. We pursue practical protection and real economic opportunities. Thank you.
Dear judges, my name is Gloria. Welcome to the final summary of this variation. Let us step back and look at the two vastly different worlds presented to you in this debate. The government brought you a world driven by panic and fear. They looked at the digital landscape and saw nothing but danger for our youth. Their immediate reaction was to use heavy state intervention. However, they failed to defend how this policy would actually work. Children do not need to be completely shielded from negative content. Seeing something inappropriate can become a valuable learning opportunity when guided by parents, teachers, and society. By being exposed to both good and bad examples, they learn to distinguish right from wrong and develop critical thinking. If such content is simply bad, children might never fully understand why certain behaviors are harmful, making them less prepared to face the real world when they eventually encounter them. They did not solve the problem of borderless internet. They did not define who to regulate, and they completely ignored the fact that they would be destroying the financial livelihoods of thousands of young creative entrepreneurs and local business. They offer an emotional reaction, not a sustainable policy. Please keep in mind that we are risking to kill bright minds and the innovation of hope by the influencers and influential people. The real question is, will we risk the future of innovation and creative minds of influencers just for unnecessary and unguaranteed regulation? Will we stand in a house of cards relying solely on government regulation? We, the opposition team, on the other hand, brought you a world of practical logic, economic awareness, and human empowerment. We did not deny that the challenge the minors face online, but we provided a realistic solution. We reminded this House that existing laws already penalize criminal behavior online. We proved that the real shield for a child is digital literacy and parental guidance, which prepares them for adulthood rather than state-enforced censorship that blinds them. We protected free speech, we protected creative economy, and we upheld the importance of the family unit. The choice today is between an ineffective authoritarian restriction or a practical, balanced system of empowerment. The path of the opposition is the only logical choice, and that's why we mark the history. Thank you.